All right. Hey, we have an amazing celebrity fitness and nutrition expert today. He's been on multiple TV, radio. He's best-selling author. In 2018, he was rated number one influencer in health and number one influencer in fitness. You may have seen him all over these fitness magazines. He's been rated number two influencer of all time on Twitter for motivation. So you are in for a dynamic treat on fitness, nutrition, and how to transform your body. Cal State Fullerton, he was a Division I sprinter, holds the record for the 100, 200 meter and the 400 meter relay. Athlete of the year at Cal State Fullerton. And he was a regular health and wellness contributor on the Steve Harvey morning radio show. So we are honored to have such an elite guest on our show today, Obi Obadike. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you like to do for fun, and what gets you up in the morning.
Oh, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Dr. Tressler. Thank you for having me on your show. No, you know what? First and foremost, when I wake up in the morning, I go right in front of my laptop and check email and have my cup of coffee. But to be honest with you, fitness, I feel like is my passion. It's what I was put on this earth to do, which is to motivate people to be healthy and fit. I do have a passion for learning new things, and then being able to educate people on what I've learned. But health and wellness is something that is a true passion of mine, and I'm going to my goal is to continue to do that until I'm not here on this earth anymore. Things that I like to do, which is travel. I'm obviously a former athlete, so I love sports. I can watch sports all day long and never get tired of it. And so sports is a big thing for me, as well as reading and learning new things. My objective on a daily and weekly basis is to try to be up to speed on everything scientifically when it comes to exercise and nutrition, and then being able to disseminate it to a way where the audience can absorb it and learn from it, whether it's through humor, whether it's through science, or whether it's through videos. It's always interesting how people absorb content and can apply it to their own training programs and protocols.
Well, I love it. We're going to dive into that today because I agree with you. The science can get overwhelming sometimes. And what I hear from my patients, from people I talk with, is they get confused. So what do? They bag it and they don't do anything. And we're going to break it down. I know you're going to break it down for us. Let me ask you this. When did you have done more for fitness, nutrition. You've been all over the internet. Your influence goes far and wide. When did you get this passion? How young were you?
Well, I think it started when I was running track in college. I was someone who really found my love through fitness, through playing sports. And so I wanted to use that to become a better athlete, to become faster, to become a better basketball player, a faster sprinter. And I think the love of me learning how to lift weights and exercise, helping me become a better athlete, is really where I found my love for it. And but I didn't know how to go about it in terms of it was. Even when I think back, the passion I had, in college, that was where it started from. So the passion was always there. Now I was just trying to, how do I, I always figured, what I'm going to be, a trainer or train people at the gym. So I didn't know how to go about it as a career, and I didn't know if it was a sustainable or stable career. So when I got out of college, I got into satellite telecommunications, and I always trained people on the side part-time while I had my full-time job. So I think for me was I didn't want to just be someone who just trained people. I wanted to really be more of a bigger presence, a bigger entity in health and wellness, whether as a writer, as an author, as a motivator, as an educator, through all types of different means of platforms and stuff. So I think it took a while for me to really have the courage to step out and just say, hey, I'm just going to just do this health and wellness fitness thing. If I follow my face, I follow my face. And I think that's what's so important is to really follow your passion, because sometimes, we get so focused on, is this passion going to really provide for me financially, that it heightens your fear of even wanting to get into it, because you don't want to fail. You're thinking about, can I provide, a living for myself, for my family, or whatever. So a lot of those fears prevent you from going after what you're really made to be on this earth. So for me, I knew even at, when I was in college, this is what I really wanted to, I felt like this is what I wanted to do. I just didn't know how to go about it. So I went the conventional way of just having a regular 9-to-5 job, which I couldn't stand. I hated it. And I even knew at 22, 23, this is not what I want to do, is work a 9-to-5 job. I want to be my own boss. So anytime that anyone gives me a platform where I can share my passion and my love for health and wellness, fitness, nutrition, it's always a treat, because if I can reach one person, then I feel like I've done a huge service to humanity and to society. Because at the end of the day, you don't have your health, you don't have any wealth. Okay, that's the bottom line. Like there shouldn't be a price tag that you put on your health, because without your health, you can't do anything.
I totally agree, and I'll tell you what, we've got to get the audience bumped up today, get them passionate, so they end this show and they say, you know what, I have to up my game. I always tell my kids, and I'll say it to my wife, she gets mad at me. I'm like, God, it's time to up your game. She's like, stop saying that. I said, you don't even know what I mean by that. So I just laughed. But you follow your passion. Your passion's fitness, and fitness makes you healthier and nutrition. But there's a lot of people out there, they don't have the passion for fitness like you do or I do. However, we've got to encourage them. You've got to light them up, Obi, because if like you just said, if you don't have your health, what good is it? What good is, being crippled, mediocre, getting through life? It affects every aspect. So when we look into fitness, where do you start? Where do you start with your clients? And let's say somebody is on the fence and they're like, well, I need to work out. What's important here? Because there's a million exercises out there. You know that.
Well, I think what's important is to figure out what you can and cannot do. I think it's trying to figure out when I take upon a new client and I'm trying to create a customized program, I want to know everything about them, their health history, their age, their weight, their, what past, present injuries they've had, any dietary concerns I need to be aware of. Any health concerns or medical concerns I need to be aware of, because I want to be able to create a program that is completely structured and customized for them, that they can do. It makes no sense to me to create a program that they can't do. If someone has bad knees, you think I'm gonna create a workout, them doing some squats? No, you're not. That doesn't make any sense. The guys is, the knee of the 55-year-old person, the knee is a lack of mobility. It doesn't really bend all the way. So, you're not going to do that. You have to curtail around those injuries and those ailments and stuff. So the one size fits all thing it doesn't work. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that sell programs, these cookie cutter copy and paste programs they send to the 25-year-old and also to the 65, 70-year-old, and so it has to be customized. And so I think the reason why people tend to shy away from exercise because there's a fear they can't do it. There's a fear that it's too hard for me. Not understanding that any legitimate fitness professional will create a program that it's almost like these little steps. It's kind of like a phase, where you give a program to someone for the first couple of weeks and get baby steps, let them get comfortable, and then help them with, as soon as it gets easy, when you start something and it's easy, you get more confidence. Oh, I can do that. Okay, now let's make it a little more difficult. Let's add something extra. So it's a phase. They get easier, they get comfortable, and then boom, you add some more stuff. Then you add some more stuff. Then you add some more stuff. I am not going to give a program to someone that is so difficult that they can't do it. It's self-defeating, and they give up. We want them to stay on. And so the idea that you have to be able to, that you have to be able to run to do your cardio you could still burn the same amount of calories walking. You just may have to do it a longer duration as opposed to jogging. But at the end of the day, if you're still able to burn the same amount of calories, but it might take you a little longer time because you're going at a slower pace, you've accomplished what the other person's accomplished, right? So it's really trying to work with the physical capabilities of that person and creating a program that is customized and structured to that individual's physical capabilities, as well as mental as well too.
I agree. And, with the whole knee thing or the shoulder thing, I always tell my patients, do what you can, but you've got to do something. You can't just sit there and just wait for your body to heal. It heals better when you're moving. And when you're moving, you're getting the blood and the nourishment. Your body's starting to regenerate. So let me ask you this. People are listening and they're saying, should I get a trainer? Can I customize this on my own? What would you say in regards to that? Can they customize it on their own? Where would they?
Well, I think that I think there's a lot of information online. I think the problem is it's hard for people to find out what works, what actually is correct and what isn't. So, if you can't afford a trainer, then I would advise you to go online and try to look up sites that are, credible sites that the Mayo Clinic, WebMD, sites that are credible, that that the information there is, 90% or above accurate, and then try to apply that and then try to build and create something. But, it's not easy to try to be your own trainer, nutritionist, if you don't really have the certifications or the education or whatever. So, but if you can't afford that, then you have to just, try to do your own independent research. It takes a little bit more time, but I do think that if it's really worth it to you, and it should be, then you're willing to make that investment to do your own research. If you can't afford a trainer or even a nutritionist, do your own research and see what would work for you as far as trying to put together a program. But I know a lot of people that just, that have been training, that have been working out for many years, they don't know how to compile a program together as far as that would allow them to be a full body program that can train their upper body, their lower body, and know how to segment in a way where they're giving their body time to recover, because they, maybe they train legs on Monday. Okay, well, if I train legs on Monday, I probably shouldn't train legs on Tuesday. I want to train that, maybe give my body a couple days break before I train legs again. So these are things that that you learn if you are, if you are certified or have a degree or whatever in terms of exercise science, in terms of knowing the anatomy of the body and knowing how to target the right way and giving it time to rest and recover. I do believe that the thing that people should do, but they don't do, is to listen to their body. If your body is extremely sore, then you may not want to work out the following day, or you may want to work out the body part that isn't as sore. So listening to your body is important from a recovery perspective,
Yeah. Let me ask you this: How long? So somebody's getting started with this, and let's say they put together something, or they just begin walking. They do some light weights. How long can they expect to kind of lock in a routine where it starts to get easier? Because, like you said, this is an investment. And folks, you've got to take your time and your money. You got to spend your money on some equipment, a trainer, someone to help you if this is all new to you, because this is your life. This is your body. You don't get a second one. You can trade in your car, but you can't trade in your body. How long can they expect?
I agree. Yeah.
I would
say about 3 to 4 weeks. I think after about 3 to 4 weeks, it gets easier. And especially someone that just started a new program. And then after that, you want to change up the program up. I like to have the program changed every 4 weeks, because I think that if you're on a program for more than 4 weeks, then your body tend to plateau. So I always like to keep the body guessing by changing up the program up exercise-wise. So I think after about a month, typically it does get easier. And your body's starting to really get acclimated to the program. And once that happens, then you want to change it up, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I'm always changing my program up. I think I have like an ADHD background, which that's okay. It works for me. But if I mix it up, like you said, you stay fresh. So
You
let me
stay
ask
fresh, without
you,
a doubt. Yeah,
and I'll tell you,
without a doubt.
my patients always ask me, "Oh, Dr. Trusser, you love working out," and I laugh. I said, "I don't love working out. I love how I feel, and I love what I
Exactly.
can do, but it hurts to work out." So if you're listening to this, you think, "Oh, this is all fun and games." It's some work to do it, but the payoff is big. Where should they? Is there entering into this? Where would you say is the most important element or elements to start looking to strive for? Is it weights? Is it stretching? Is it cardio? Is it calisthenics? I started some new stuff with calisthenics where I'm doing like gymnastic stuff and push-ups and pull. This stuff is hard, it's brutal, but it's fun and it's keeping me strong. What's
Well,
important?
I think it's all of the above. It's not one over the other. Number one, you want to always stretch. I think that's important. Particularly before you work out, you want to warm up, stretch your lower body and your upper body. I think lifting weights is so important, particularly for anyone that's over 50 or over 60. The reason why is because when you get to that age, you're more susceptible to bone fractures and breaking bones, and so lifting weights is going to strengthen your bone density. For women, I actually think they probably need to incorporate lifting weights after the age of 50 more than any other sex and age because of the menopause. Once they reach menopause, they start to drop, their estrogen levels start to drop, and they start losing bone density, and they're more susceptible to bone fractures because of osteoporosis and breaking bones. So lifting weights is going to help to strengthen the bone density and minimize someone fracturing a bone because of osteoporosis, because of losing that bone density. So lifting weights is one of those things that, as we age, every decade after the age of 30, your metabolism drops 3 to 5%. The only way to combat that natural metabolic decline is lifestyle change. Okay, so when you increase your body composition through lifting weights, that is going to minimize the metabolic decline, because the more lean muscle mass you have, the faster your resting metabolism is going to be. So the goal as you get older is not necessarily to build more lean muscle mass. No, we're trying to preserve our lean muscle mass. That's what we're trying to do, because it's going to decline. All of us are. We're trying to preserve our lean muscle mass, minimize losing it, so we can keep that resting metabolic rate high. And that's through body composition. Increasing the body composition, lifting weights. You got to lift weights. You know, the analogy that I've used on social media, people always seem to love this one, is that, going to work out and doing cardio without lifting weights is like going to take a shower without using soap. It doesn't work. You're not going to be clean. So you're not going to be completely fit doing, a little cardio, you do a little walk and you run, you're not lifting any weight. Or vice versa. Going to the car to doing lifting weights, not doing it. They work hand in hand. So we all know when you take a shower, you gotta use soap. You don't use soap, you're not gonna be clean.
I'm going to use that analogy. That's a good one.
You can use it. You can use it, Dr. Trust. That's yours, man. That's yours. Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you this. Okay, break this myth, because I know you've heard this. I hear it all the time with women. Is I don't want to get bulky, and I laugh. I laugh. I said, if it were that easy, I would be 50 pounds heavier and massive. I work out hard. I don't get that big. So break that myth where women are going to get bulky.
I was on the Wendy Williams TV show, and it's a really funny clip. I'd have to send it to you when we're done with this. That me talking about women getting bulky with lifting weights, and I did it in a humorous way so women could laugh, but they can hear me. And You're not going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're not going to look like Lou Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk. The reason why is you don't produce enough testosterone like a man. It's just impossible. Okay, you don't produce enough testosterone. You're not a man. There's no way lifting weights is going to make you bulky. So that is one of the oldest myths. The fact that people still believe that is very disappointing. You know, you know, and it's not being fun, not laughing at women, but the fact that women still believe that. You have no idea. Lifting weights is one of the most beautiful things a woman can do to shape her body, to shape her curves. Okay, if you can incorporate that, it's amazing what it will do, how your body is going to feel, how firm it's going to feel, how it's going to heighten your look as far as what the mirror tells you. So please lift weights, ladies. Lift weights at least 3 days a week, at least. It's so important, you know, and it's probably more important for you guys to do it more than even us guys, particularly after the age of 50, when you're reaching menopause and those estrogen levels are dropping. You know, you're more susceptible to breaking your bone or fracturing a bone more than a guy because of osteoporosis. And the best way to combat that is lifting weights. So yeah, you have to lift weights. It's very important for the overall health.
I love it. And, you know, being toned, because you'll get toned, but like you said, we every year we decrease. Our body is breaking down. The only way to preserve it is to work it hard. Well, here's another myth, or maybe a challenge is I'll hear, well, yeah, doc, I have these 3-pound weights at home and I don't want to discourage them. But I'm like, okay, that's a good starting point. I said, well, we can go beyond 3 pounds. How do you influence women to work out as intense as they can with as much heavy weight as they can tolerate? And that weight's going to be different for everyone, but the fear is going back to they're going to get big and bulky. So that's gone. Women, you're not going to get big and bulky, but should they lift as heavy as they can and keep pushing it as much as they can tolerate with obviously good form and it feels good on their joints? But is it okay for them to push it hard?
Absolutely, without a doubt. I mean, you obviously they don't need to be a power lifter, but you want to lift, you want to feel the burn, right? You want to be able to. I would have any woman that's lifting weights try to lift. I like the 12 to 15 rep range for women, and the burn is really that last 5-6 reps of that 12 to 15 is really when you start feeling that burn. And that's blood flowing through the muscle. That's a good thing. You're working the muscle. So that burn will tell you, oh my God, I can feel it. And when those last reps start to get slower and slower because the burn is so, intense, you keep going. If you're not feeling the burn, you're probably either not doing the exercise correctly or you're not using enough resistance. You're not using enough weight. So that burn is going to tell you that you are probably using enough weight when you start to feel it, and you're doing the exercise correctly. So the burn is a really great indicator of that, without a doubt. I think I like the three sets. I think that's a really good thing. 3 sets for women. A warm up set. And then the 2 sets, the 2 of the 3 sets are the one.
Yeah, and
Where you're gonna push it, yes.
I lost you there for a second.
Sorry, I hit the mute button on accident. Apologize.
I'll edit that. That's all right.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, exactly. So the burn is a great indicator, without a doubt.
So women, if you're listening and you have the 2 to 5 pound weights and you're like, okay, I'll start there, follow Obi's advice. Do the 12 to 15 reps. But if you don't feel the burner, you can't do another rep. Keep going. And if you get 50 reps, that's the weight's too light. Then you have to up your weight. So you're shooting, and what Obi was saying is you're shooting for the 3 sets. If you do 3 sets and they're very light and you don't feel the burn, you're not getting, it's like going to the shower again with no soap. So
exactly, without a doubt,
you got to get the burn. So other advice on exercise, and I think we should transition into the nutrition, because nutrition is extremely important, and they go hand in hand. But as we transition, what else with fitness that you are just passionate about that people need to understand?
About nutrition. I would say is
No, I mean fitness. I'm sorry.
About fitness. Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I would basically say that fitness can be done anywhere. It can be done outdoors. It can be done in your garage, in your living room. It can be done. It can be done anywhere. So it's just a matter of your body is your own workout machine. Okay. So you don't necessarily need a gym to stay in shape. Whether it's walking, whether it's doing chair dips, whether it's doing push-ups, whether it's doing body squats or wall sits or walking around a track, doing some jumping jacks. So fitness is a thing that you can take anywhere, whether you're traveling or in your hotel. So that's the beautiful thing about staying in shape. The idea that you need to have a gym to stay in shape is just really not, it's just an excuse. You really don't need to. You know, your body, you can do so many amazing exercises and stay in shape with your own body. So
yeah,
that's what I would tell anybody that really wants to stay in shape. But so, you know, you just, it's one of those things that it's easy to make excuses, but to be honest with you, you don't need any, you can use minimal equipment to stay in shape. As long as you have a body, and we all have a body, we can use that as our workout machine.
And that is the most important element, because that's a mind shift. That's a mind game. And when you get to that point and you say, you know what, there's no limits and there's no excuses anymore, you'll find a way to work out. I remember my daughter had a softball tournament, and you're there all day, and I didn't get my workout in the morning, so I brought my running clothes and I was going to do some push-ups, and all the dads are hanging around eating hot dogs and Doritos, and I put on my clothes and I'm going for a run. Well, I have to get some weights in. I didn't have any weights, so I'm doing pull-ups out of a tree, and a tree branch, and they're looking at me going, "You're crazy." And I didn't say anything. And I'm like, well, I'm the only healthy guy here. This is working for me. But it's what you just said is there's no excuses. I have a body. I can find a way to work out. If you're in an event, you can walk around the track. You can walk the stairs. You can do push-ups in the grass. You can do air squats in the grass. You find a way. But I'll tell you, Obi, if we can get to the minds and we have a shift like that, there's no stopping. We're going to have a world that's completely transformed. So
without a doubt.
And I love what you're doing, because you're making an influence. You're making a dent, and we got to just keep this up. So as we transition to nutrition, is nutrition important? You know it is. And people are out there and they're doing just the nutrition and not the exercise, or they're doing the exercise and they feel, why exercise? I'm allowed to eat a whole pie now. So why don't you explain how important nutrition is and what your advice on that is?
Sure. Well, I think 80% of maintaining your weight and losing weight is what you put into your body. And so nutrition it's so important, because you can truly manage your weight and lose weight just by eating the right foods. I always say I like the idea. I don't like anything extreme, whether it's exercise or nutrition. And I think the science validates that if you tell someone to have to eat a certain way 7 days a week, psychologically, it's hard to be able to be successful from a long-term perspective. So I think I like the idea of the 80-20 rule, where you eat good 80% of the time and 20% of the time you can indulge. I think that anytime you have cheats and days that you can't indulge, it makes it more, it makes it easier. And psychologically, I think your body, you need it mentally. The objective is, how can you have someone sustain eating the right way long term? Okay, so I don't believe that most people can eat, super strict 7 days a week and expect to be successful from a long-term perspective. So our objective is to keep them healthy and maintain their weight and stay fit. I think that having days where you can indulge allows that person to still be healthy from a long-term perspective. And when you understand how calories are so important in regards to gaining weight, it's more important than I know people want to blame carbs for gaining fat, but I'm here to tell you people that the science says no, 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 no. You need carbs. Carbs is like energy, your energy and your fuel. People don't get, the people that are overweight and obese in this country, they're not that way because of carbs. They're that way because of an overabundance of calories. Okay, period. End of discussion. So carbs are important for you, and I know the keto thing is so popular, but I'm just, when I provide information, I don't provide it off of an opinion. I provide it based on science, and there's no science that says that if you take in more than 10 to 15% of your carbs, you're going to get fat. It's not scientifically possible.
So what would your advice be? I mean, like you just mentioned, keto. We have paleo, vegan, we have meat eater, we have intermittent fasting. I mean, there are so many different elements, and I think you can extract some good from all of this. And I agree with you with the 80-20.
I definitely think you can. I think that I personally I believe in balance.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you can have everything, but everything in balance. Everything is within moderation. If you overconsume too much stuff, it's not good for you. So I believe in the 40-40-20 rule, which is 40% protein, 40% carbs, 20% fat. And you can adjust that based on what your weight is and what the number on the scale says. So I think you can have, of course, you're not going to overconsume red meat. You got to, have that in moderation. Of course, you're not going to overconsume sugar. You're going to have that in moderation. Of course, you're not going to, overconsume a lot of things. Everything is really within moderation. So I believe in everything being balanced. I think that when things are extreme, particularly when you do the keto thing, the super, super low, minimal to zero carbs, I don't know if that's real. I don't believe that's sustainable. Because obviously you're trying to get your energy source from fats, and I don't believe that is a sustainable model from a long-term perspective. So I think short-term, if you want to do that, just to get yourself set into maybe dropping some body weight, that's fine. But your body, you need carbs. I think the American Dietetic Association recommends at least 135 grams of carbs per day, just for basic brain functionality. I believe in balance in everything, balance in how you eat, balance in, indulging 10 to 20% of the time, getting your carbs, maybe 20 to 40% of carbs, compared to your proteins and your healthy fats. Your healthy fats, maybe 10 to 20%, carbs, maybe 20 to 40%, proteins, maybe 30 to 50%, everything within a balance. And that, from everything that I have read, scientifically, typically, it may not sound sexy, but that conventional way of eating hasn't changed, and people still are able to have great success, losing weight that way. There's a lot of different ways to lose weight, but I truly believe the long-term sustainability approach is the balance in your macronutrients, and also the balance in how you indulge as well too. And many people I've seen try to go strict, minimal, zero alcohol and zero cheats, and we're going to do this as long as we can. They fail. They fail all the time. They don't last that long. So if I can tell you, hey man, you can indulge 15, 20% of the time. You can eat whatever you want, 15, 20% of the time. No bigger than the palm of your hand when you cheat. Still got to eat good healthy foods. Your proteins, your carbs, your complex carbs. Your lean proteins like your turkey and your fish and your chicken and your salmon, and and making sure that you cook your food in healthy oils. Your canola oil, your sunflower oil, and complex carbs like your brown rice and your sweet potatoes and your baked potatoes and your beans. And I'm saying you can have all that, and you can have different options to swap from. but you can indulge maybe 10 to 15 to 20% of the time on the weekend. And it's, it's no bigger than the palm of your hand. And I'm saying you can do that. And I can guarantee you, if you do that, you'll be able to lose weight or manage your weight. Would you do that over the extreme approach of just no cheats, no nothing? It's a lifestyle. You have to enjoy your life. But when you do enjoy, it's within moderation. And we all know when we had too much to eat bad. We all know it. We can feel it. We're like, oh my God, I overdid it. We all know. You're just like, oh my God, I need a vacation from what I just ate.
And I think what you said with the sustainability, there are people out there that can live on an extreme, and those are rare. I don't believe it's healthy. I don't believe it's healthy mentally, if anything, even if they look healthy on the outside. But I agree with you there. It was interesting when this whole keto thing came. I always try different things in my diet, and I thought I'm going to try to do more fats in my diet. It just didn't agree with me. My energy dropped. I didn't feel good. I didn't want to have a bowl of pasta or a bowl of cereal, but I started putting fruit back in because I cut fruit down to a very minimum if I even had a piece that day. So when I added fruit in, my exercise level went up. I started feeling good. So we all have different body types too, where somebody can maybe get away with higher fat, works for them. But if it's not sustainable, if it's extreme, like what you're saying, we're not going to follow through. And the whole thing is, and you talk about this as long term. I want to live to 120 years, but I want to live healthy, and I want to live without diapers. So to do that, I gotta stay healthy, but I have to sustain a lifetime of eating healthy. And if it's crazy dieting stuff, I agree with you. It's okay short term, maybe to get us repositioned and kind of stimulated, but long term, we got to hold on. And you said, and I hope they caught this, the cheat day, the cheat meal, or the cheat, whatever that is, the piece of pie or cake, the palm of your hand, folks. Obi didn't say a bucket or a whole pie. It's the palm of your hand. And that won't affect you, if you can do that.
Well, I think that when you're telling someone to cheat and you're trying to educate them, if you are not specific, they're going to, that cheat's going to be a cheat 24-hour cheat day, and now you blew your whole week. You blew all the good things you did throughout the week. So I think it's important to be specific when you're educating someone about cheating and indulging.
Yeah, and I'm glad
portion control when you do that, so it's not too excessive.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because I get a lot of people who say, "Well, I do it in moderation," and I'm like, "What the heck does that mean? What's your moderation?" So if you came to if you lived my life with my exercise and fitness and what I do, my moderation may kill you. My moderation in your life, you'd say, like, dude, you're not even doing it. You've got to take it up a notch. So we have to look at, say, what is moderation? 80-20, palm of hand, not, a pint of ice cream and 7 cookies to go with it. So,
I mean, I've heard the 90-10. I actually think 10 is a little bit too low. But you play with it. I like the 80-20. And you just know, and you can, the great thing about, fitness and staying in shape is you can monitor it. You can monitor how your body responds to, indulging, and when you're eating the right way and you're indulging maybe on a Saturday or Sunday, and then you can monitor it, how, if you feel like, wow, I feel good. And, and my weight, my clothes still fit the same way. Okay, well, I'll eat this way. Or wow, I'm dropping a lot of weight. Let me increase my indulgence a little bit. So it's just you're playing. It's a little, you're playing with it, and you'll figure out the happy medium for you, and there is some form of little massage back and forth in terms of how to eat the proper way for you, for your body type, and how you process and digest food.
Yeah, I agree. I'll tell you, I'll never forget. I went to a health and nutrition conference probably 20 some years ago, and it was down in Florida. And I went. I probably at the time I weighed about 165. I work out, but I'm not a big guy. I went in and I felt like I was a bodybuilder. These people were so like lean, almost emaciated. All they were eating is salads and beans, and most of them were vegetarian. And I'm looking, I said, these people work out. Do they eat any meat? Do they do anything? And I'll tell you what, that gave me an eye-opening experience. When you go to extreme, and it seemed like their extreme was they vegetables mainly, very lean, very light. They were all skinny, just not healthy looking. And I thought, I don't want to be that person. I want to have that moderation of weightlifting and exercise and fitness and put on some weight for power. So yeah, the extremes can kill you. What have been, I mean, you've been all over the internet, TV, radio. What have been some of your most memorable moments, success cases, your influence? What do you remember that said, wow, you are making a difference?
Well, it's so hard to pick one, but I would say the one that maybe stood out for me was when I co-authored the book, The Cut, with Morris Chestnut. We put the book out. It's a 12-week transformational book, 12-week book on how to get in shape in 90 days. I did a focus group, I think about 15 to 20 people that I helped lose weight that were attached to the book, and their transformations were featured in the book and on the back cover. And so some of those focus group individuals were flown out when we did our book tour to promote our book. Some of them were flown out to some of the talk shows we were on. The Steve Harvey TV show flew out 2 of my transformations. So one of the focus group guys was obese, and 12 weeks was not enough time to help him lose all the weight. So I didn't want to leave a guy hanging after just 90 days because I was doing a book. I really wanted to help get this guy right. So, I agreed to work with him for a year to help him lose all the weight he needed to lose. So I helped him lose 117 pounds in 1 year. This is, by the way, all these people focus group, this is all online. This was not one-on-one. I gave them everybody a program, and I communicated with them on a weekly basis. So I helped him lose 170 pounds in 1 year. They showed his transformations. We were on all the major national daytime talks we were on. They showed his images as well as some of the male and female focus group successful candidates. But his one stood out because of the amount of weight he lost under the time frame. Steve Harvey, the producers of the Steve Harvey show, flew him out, and then flew out another female transformation who lost about 30 pounds in 12 weeks. So it felt great because of how people applauded him and the notoriety he received from the amount of weight he lost, but most importantly, his health. His blood pressure levels dropped by 60%. His cholesterol levels dropped. Just the health, from a health perspective, all his levels went back to baseline, very normal, because of the eating, because, of eating and exercising. And he wasn't even an old guy. He was like in his early 30s, but he just kind of let himself, and he tried everything. He tried every diet you can think of, he tried. But my system worked. So that was very rewarding for me to help this guy get back healthy and get him back to being healthy and getting him out of that obese range for being such a young guy. And then he was celebrated, on a national level because he was, attached to our book. He was a huge success story. He kind of stood out because of the amount of weight he lost. That was very rewarding for me.
I saw that clip, and that is rewarding. And not only do you help somebody lose weight, you transform his life. And I look at it as we are saving lives. It's not just we're making someone feel better, because how close are we? Obesity, 40% of all cancers are related to obesity. So, when somebody turns that corner and they lose 20 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, heart disease, cancers, joint problems, joint surgeries, all those things can be stopped in their tracks. And who knows, that next heart attack could be the one that kills them. And, that's what happened. My dad died at age 50. And I remember, when that happened, I said, I'm not dying at age 50. I'm going to figure this out. So, and this is radically affecting America and the world. and we have to keep doing this more. And I'm so honored that you chose to be on our show to help people. When I saw you on the Steve Harvey show, how was that working with him? He seemed like such a hoot. He sounds like he's a blast.
Yeah, you know what? Like when I got on the show to promote our book, he was so enamored by my transformations, and that he reached out and said, "Hey, I want you to help train me." So I started working with him and helping him lose weight. And then during the process, he had me on his radio show, morning radio shows. I think I was on the show 6 to 8 months, national morning radio show. But it was fun. I mean, imagine, training someone and them continuously telling jokes throughout the process. So that's kind of how it was. It was just, he's definitely a legit comedian, that's for sure. He's one thing that I could say about him is he's probably one of the hardest working people that I've ever been around. He is how he approaches his craft is the way he approaches everything in life. And I saw it, him getting up early in the morning. He works, guys working 16, 18-hour days. And, I'm going to his house and, at 6 in the morning, and he's putting in work. I mean, he's busting his, So, it's, he's a hard working guy without a doubt. So, and he's,
successful people do this. If people listening, if you're listening and you say, wow, I'm only working out 10 minutes a day. You look at Obi and you look at, the cover of you on these magazines, 10 minutes wouldn't cut it. I'm sure you work out hard. You dedicate your life. You dedicate part of your day to this. And it's just what Steve Harvey's doing. To be successful, you have to work hard, folks. You have to get up and say, okay, I got to plan my workouts. It's going to hurt a little bit, but that's a good hurt. So do you still have these programs that you're working with people? Why don't you tell the listeners a couple things?
Correct. Yeah, no. Well, they can, how it works out, my online weight loss coaching program, you can contact me on my website or at obfitness@verizon.net if you truly want the online coaching where I work with clients online. I do provide that. So you reach me on my website, you type in your name and your information on the personal trainer request form. It'll come to me, and then I'll work with you and figure out what your fitness goals are, and then help you get in shape and lose weight. So I think my online coaching program is probably the best for people that are really serious and really want to lose weight and get in the best shape possible. I've had the best success transforming people online, weight loss, building muscle, getting in the best shape possible online, and I've done one-on-one, which is quite fascinating. So I figure I've really figured this thing out scientifically, and I've been doing this for over a decade as far as having success doing this on a local level and a national level. And I've worked with every big celebrity you can think of. So if you're interested in wanting to lose weight and get in the best shape possible, post COVID-19, we're still in it right now, but you really want to, work with someone that really understands the body, understands the science of exercise, the science of nutrition, that you can go to obidike.com, OBIOBADIKE.com, or email me at obifitness@verizon.net, and then message me, or you can find me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, my name, and I'll do what I can to help you get to where you need to be.
That's awesome, and we'll have all your information, contact information in our show notes. So I always say, if you're driving, don't try to plug this into your phone now. Just wait till you stop. You just go click on the show notes. It'll take you right to Obi's page. And I would encourage you, if you're one of those folks who you're sitting around and say, man, I don't know, should I do something? Be a game player. Don't be a sideline looker. Keep playing. But Obi, I've been playing rugby for many years. I still play rugby. I'm 54, and at this point, there's not an old guys team here. I'm playing with these 20 and 30-year-olds, but I'm so far into it. I keep running my mouth about how I play. I can't get out of it now. I got to keep going. But I tell them, I'm like, I'm a player. I like to go out and play. I don't like to sit and watch. I'll watch, on the Sunday night, something, but I want to have fun in life. And I'll tell you, take Obi up on his offer. Go check out his page. Try it. Even 4, 8, 12-week program, it will transform your life. And when you get these habits instilled the correct way by a professional, now you have resources for the rest of your life. And once you get it, and I'm sure, Obi, you can attest to this with all your clients, once they get that fire going and they start to see the momentum, they start to feel the burn, see the muscle change, get strong, man, it's like no turning back. This is a game changer for the rest of their life.
Exactly, without a doubt. It's without a doubt. After you start to learn from a professional, then you can use that same knowledge, application, and principles, for the rest of your life, without a doubt. So I appreciate you plugging that. I love what I do, and so I appreciate you having me on your show and be able to motivate people to do the right things, particularly right now with what we're going through right now in this pandemic.
Yeah. And, going through this right now, the healthier we are, the more fit, better nutrition, that raises our immunity. So we can fight these things better. This doesn't just stop with like being able to play rugby. This isn't just, I can play wiffle ball with my kids. This is, I'm going to stay alive. I'm going to be healthy.
Right.
I'm going to avoid hip replacements. And when I'm 90, I'm going to be driving my car, not sitting in a nursing home in a diaper. Folks, you got to think about this now. So Obi, I so appreciate you being on our shows. I'm honored to have you as a guest, and I'll have all your show notes linked up. I hope people get in touch with you. We're going to really promote you. Thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you, Dr. Tressler. Appreciate you having me on your show. Thanks for the opportunity, and you continue to do all the great work that you're doing, and you're definitely a service to, what we do as fitness experts and nutrition experts and health and wellness experts is, of course, we're not medical doctors. We're not, but but what we do is preventive health care. We prevent you from having to, have a surgery or having to face a medical or health issue. So that's what we do. We're preventive health care. We prevent you from getting to that serious level health-wise. So that preventive health care, if you're doing it on a consistent basis, then you're going to minimize the type of health and medical expenses that you may face because of stroke or heart disease or whatever. So exercise and eating the right way are the things that are going to prevent you from having to go to the doctor for things that other than going getting a physical. So
yeah, and that's something we didn't even cover, but that's a great point. That could be tens of thousands over the next 5-10 years. Healthcare costs keep going up, and expenses keep going up. Insurance coverage keeps going down. So you're left with either you're vulnerable and you have to depend on whatever the insurance gives you and whatever the rates are, or like Obi's saying, you take care of your health and your level of fitness and nutrition, and you can avoid a lot of this. And I'm telling you, you can avoid a lot of this. I'm 54, and there's only been a couple of times that I've been to a doctor for testing over the last 30 years. I'm not in their office but I've learned to put my investment into me, into my health and my level. So again, Obi, thank you so much. Thank
you so much.
Awesome.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for the time. Take care. All right. Bye-bye.